The battlefield was silent, too silent. Only the smell of burning metal and the faint echo of explosions remained. Smoke covered the sky like a dark blanket. In the middle of that ruin lay a warrior, a girl once proud, once feared. Her name was Serenia. She was not human. Her skin carried a faint glow under the smoke, her eyes sharp like blades, and her armor cracked but still shining with alien craft. She had fought countless battles for her clan. She had given them loyalty, blood, and victory. But tonight, everything changed. She had been betrayed. Serenia remembered the moment clearly. Her squad had moved in to strike the enemy. She trusted them, as always. She had led them, as always. But when she was surrounded, bleeding, screaming for support, no one came. Her commander's last words still rang in her ears. "You are no longer needed. Die here." Then they left her, alone, broken. The wounds burned. Her strength was fading. She pressed her hand against the ground, forcing herself to rise. But her legs betrayed her too. She fell again. Why? Why had they done this? She had given everything. She had believed in them. And now? They had thrown her away like nothing. The wind blew across the battlefield, carrying whispers of death. The shadows of wrecked ships stood tall like broken monuments. Serenia dragged herself through the ashes. Her breath came in short, sharp gasps. The stars above blurred in her vision. But her warrior heart refused to stop. She would not give her enemies the gift of seeing her body rot in the dirt. Still, even the strongest will cannot defeat blood loss and betrayal. Her strength was gone. Her hands trembled. At last she collapsed against a ruined wall, her body too weak to move. Her voice was a whisper. Why? Why me? Her eyes closed. Darkness began to swallow her, but fate had other plans. A sound, footsteps. Not the heavy steps of her alien kin, not the growl of the enemy she once fought. These were lighter, softer, but steady. A shadow appeared through the smoke. A figure, walking with purpose, though not with power. A human, he was not armored like her kind. His clothes were torn, his weapon simple, his body marked with scars. His eyes carried both fear and courage. He looked small compared to the giants she once fought beside. And yet, he did not run. He stopped in front of her. For a moment, his face showed shock. He saw what she was, an alien warrior, bleeding, dangerous even in weakness. Most humans would have fled. Most humans would have finished her with a single shot out of fear. But this one, he knelt. "Are you alive?" His voice was rough but calm. Serenia's eyes opened slowly. She stared at him. "A human? Here. On this battlefield, go. Leave," she whispered. "I am not your kind." The man shook his head. "You'll die here." She coughed, bitter laughter escaping her lips. That is what they wanted. His brows furrowed. Who wanted that? My own. My clan. Her voice was weak, trembling with rage. They left me. They betrayed me. For a moment, silence. Only the fire crackled around them. The human's eyes softened, but his voice stayed firm. "Then let me be different. Let me help you." Serenia looked at him, confused. Why would a human care? Why would someone so fragile risk himself for her? "You are a fool," she whispered. "Maybe," he said with a faint smile. "But better a fool who tries than a coward who walks away." Something inside her chest stirred. She wanted to resist it, wanted to spit at his words. But her strength was gone, her body too broken to argue. She let her head rest back against the wall. For the first time since the betrayal, a tear slipped down her cheek. The human reached into his bag, pulling out cloth to bind her wounds. His hands shook. She could see he was no medic, no soldier like her. And yet he tried, carefully, gently. Every touch carried no malice, only intent, only courage. The smoke grew thicker. The battlefield was no longer safe. He looked around, nervous. "We can't stay here," he said. "If more come, they'll kill you." "And me?" She closed her eyes. "Leave me. Save yourself." But he shook his head firmly. "No, I don't abandon people." Those words struck her like lightning. Her clan had abandoned her. But this human, this stranger, spoke the opposite. He lifted her carefully, her weight heavy, but not impossible. She felt his body shake under the burden, but he did not stop. He carried her through the ruins, step by step, heart beating strong with determination. And for the first time, Serenia felt something new, hope yet. In the shadows beyond the smoke, unseen eyes were watching. Enemies had not finished their hunt, and the human who dared to save her had just made himself their target. The story of betrayal was only the beginning. The ruins stretched wide under a broken sky. Smoke twisted like dark fingers, hiding danger in every corner. The war was not over, never was. The human carried Serenia with trembling arms. Every step cost him breath. Every move cut his strength in half. Yet he did not stop. She felt his heartbeat against her armor. Steady and strong, though his body was fragile compared to hers. His boots sank into ash, but his will was iron. He was no ordinary human. His name was Kale, not a soldier of rank, not a leader of armies. Just a man who had survived too many battles, too many losses. His family was gone, his people scattered by the war between humans and alien clans. But Kale had never let grief turn him into a coward. Where others saw fear, he saw duty. Where others turned away, he stepped forward, and now fate had placed an alien warrior in his arms, a being who once may have been his enemy. Serenia's voice was weak, but sharp. "Why do this? Why save me?" Kale kept walking. His eyes scanned the ruins, watching for movement. "Because you needed help. That is not reason enough," she whispered. He glanced at her. Her glowing eyes were filled with suspicion, almost hatred. "It's reason enough for me," he answered. For a long moment there was silence between them. Only the crack of fires and the hiss of burning metal filled the air. Then, movement. Shadows shifted ahead. Kale froze. His grip on Serenia tightened, lowering her carefully against a broken wall. His hand went to his weapon, an old, battered rifle. It was nothing compared to the alien blades and plasma that had scarred the land. But it was all he had. He raised the rifle slowly. Steady hands hiding his exhaustion. Out of the smoke stepped 3 figures, alien hunters. Their armor gleamed, marked with the same clan symbols Serenia once wore. Her blood froze. She knew them. They had been her brothers in arms. Now, they came to finish her. One of the hunters sneered, voice cold. "So it's true. You still breathe, traitor." Serenia's lips curled, rage mixing with pain. "I am no traitor. You betrayed me." The hunter laughed cruelly. "You were a tool, Serenia. Tools break. Tools are discarded." Kale's jaw tightened. He positioned himself between Serenia and the hunters. His voice was steady, though he faced death. "She's not alone anymore." The hunters exchanged looks, amused. A human, protecting her. How pathetic. Kale did not flinch. "Try me." The hunters moved fast, weapons raised. Plasma blades hissed alive, glowing in the smoke. Kale pulled the trigger. The rifle cracked, a burst of fire slicing the silence. One hunter fell, armor pierced. The other 2 charged, fury in their eyes. Kale ducked, rolled, fired again. His shot struck true, but alien armor was strong. The hunters swung their blades, one slicing through the wall where Cale had stood a heartbeat before. Sparks flew, stones shattered. He was outmatched, outnumbered, outpowered, and yet he did not back down. Serenia watched, her breath caught in her throat. This fragile human, with no clan, no armor, no power, was fighting like a storm. He moved with instinct, every step meant to protect her. A blade slashed across his side. Cale grunted in pain, but did not fall. He fired point-blank, blasting one hunter through the chest. The alien collapsed, lifeless. The last hunter roared, swinging hard. Cale blocked with the rifle, the weapon shattering under the force. The blade pressed closer, inches from Cale's throat. Serenia's eyes widened. She tried to rise, but her body betrayed her. Too broken to move. Cale's hands trembled, holding the blade back with sheer strength. His eyes locked on the hunters, and then, with a roar, he drove a broken piece of rifle into the alien's neck. The hunter gurgled, stumbled, then fell. Silence returned. Cale dropped to his knees, gasping for air. Blood dripped from his side. His weapon was broken, his body shaken. But he was alive. He turned to Serenia, his lips twisting into a tired smile. See? Not so pathetic. For the first time in her life, Serenia felt something unfamiliar. Not fear, not hate. But awe. This human had no reason to fight for her. No duty, no loyalty, no command. Yet he did. He had stood against death, not for himself, but for her. Her voice trembled. You risked your life. For me, Cale wiped the blood from his face. I told you. I don't abandon people. Her heart clenched. Those words. The exact opposite of what her clan had done. The smoke cleared a little. The fires burned lower. But the danger was not gone. Serenia knew more hunters would come. Her clan would not stop until she was dead. But now? She was not alone. She looked at Cale, the fragile human who had fought like a hero. Something deep inside her shifted. A seed planted, one she did not yet understand. Perhaps, just perhaps, this human was more than what he seemed. And perhaps, her story was not ending here. It was only beginning. The ruins had gone quiet again, but silence never meant safety. Cale moved carefully through the wreckage, his side bleeding, his breath uneven. Serenia leaned against his arm, her weight almost too much for him to bear. Every step echoed in her mind. She hated being carried, hated being weak. She was a warrior of her people, trained to strike fear in enemies. And now? She was broken, saved only by a fragile human. Her pride screamed inside her chest. Cale betrayed her. At last, Cale found Sheltora, half-collapsed bunker, its roof cracked but still standing. He set her down gently on a slab of stone. His hands shook as he searched his bag for supplies. Bandages, a flask of water, a knife for defense. Nothing more. Serenia watched him closely, eyes narrowing. He was no medic, no healer. Just a man with too much stubbornness to let her die. You are injured, she said, voice sharp. He shrugged, tearing cloth to bind her wounds first. So are you. Worse? Her jaw tightened. Fool, you should treat yourself first. Cale gave her a faint smile. If I die, you won't last. If you die, neither will I, so let's keep you breathing. His hands worked clumsily, but carefully. He pressed cloth against the glowing wound across her shoulder. She hissed, her body flinching. You don't know what you're doing, she spat. Maybe not, he admitted. But I know this: if I leave it open, you'll bleed out. His voice was calm, steady, not mocking, not cruel. He spoke as though her life mattered. That unsettled her more than the pain. No human should care for her. Her kind had slaughtered his. Yet here he was, fighting to keep her alive. Hours passed in silence. The bunker smelled of rust and ash. Cale worked until her wounds were covered, then finally collapsed back against the wall, holding his own side where blood seeped through torn cloth. Serenia studied him in the dim light. His face was pale, his body shaking, yet he didn't complain. "You risk too much," she whispered. He chuckled weakly. "Story of my life." Night fell. The sky outside burned with faint embers of war, red and black against the stars. In the bunker, the silence deepened. Serenia's eyes stayed fixed on Cale. She could not sleep. Her mind was full of questions. Why had he not killed her when he had the chance? Why had he fought hunters who should have torn him apart? Why was he still sitting here guarding her when his own wounds bled? It made no sense. Her clan had abandoned her, though she had been one of their strongest. Yet this humana stranger risked everything to save her. Her heart wrestled with it. Refusing to trust, Cale broke the silence. "You keep staring at me, waiting for me to betray you." Serenia's lips pressed tight. "It would not surprise me." His gaze didn't waver. "I'm not like your people. How do you know what my people are?" she snapped. His voice grew quiet. "Because I've seen what betrayal looks like." That silenced her. For the first time, she saw something in his eyes she hadn't noticed before. Not just courage, pain, loss. He understood her more than she wished to admit. She turned her head away, anger boiling inside her. "I don't need your pity, human." Cale leaned back against the wall, exhaustion pulling at him. "It's not pity," he murmured. "It's choice. I choose to help. You can hate me for it, but I'll still do it." His words lingered in the air like fire in the cold night. Serenia closed her eyes. Her chest ached, but not from the wounds. It was something deeper, something dangerous. Later, when Cale drifted into a shallow sleep, Serenia moved. Her hand hovered over his broken rifle lying near his side. She could kill him now. End this strange bond before it grew stronger. Walk away before she owed him anything. Her fingers trembled. Her warrior's mind screamed that it was the smart choice. He was human, weak, a distraction. But when she looked at his sleeping face, she saw no malice, only exhaustion. Only stubborn courage. Her hand lowered. She let the weapon rest. Whispers filled her mind, memories of her clan. You were nothing. A tool. Broken, unworthy. Her jaw clenched. She wanted to scream, to silence the voices. But instead, she whispered words she never thought she would speak. "Why? Do I want to trust him?" The night answered only with silence. By dawn, Cale stirred. His eyes opened, heavy with fatigue. He sat up slowly, wincing at his wound. Serenia pretended to look away, but her gaze drifted back. "You are reckless," she said. He grinned faintly, even through pain. "Reckless keeps us alive." For the first time, she didn't argue. Instead, she looked down at her bandaged arm, at the proof of his stubborn care. Something inside her shifted, small, fragile, but real. She hated it. She feared it. But she could not deny it in that broken bunker. Surrounded by silence and scars, a fragile bond had begun to form. Not trust. Not yet. But the first step toward it, and in the shadows beyond the ruins. Unseen enemies were already moving again. The hunt was far from over. The night passed heavy and long. By dawn, the fires of the battlefield had burned low, leaving only smoke and silence. Inside the bunker, Cale sat awake, sharpening a broken blade with a stone. His side still bled beneath the cloth, but he ignored it. Serenia's eyes, half closed, watched him. She had not slept. Not really. Her mind replayed the betrayal, again and again. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw her commander's face, heard his voice. "You are no longer needed. Die here." The words cut deeper than any blade. Kale broke the silence first. "You talk in your sleep." Her head snapped toward him, anger flashing. "Lies?" he shrugged, not meeting her gaze. "You said." "Why me?" More than once, the air grew heavy. Her pride wanted to deny it, but her heart was tired. Slowly, she looked away. "Because that question has no answer." She whispered. Kale set the blade down, leaning forward. "Tell me, why did they betray you?" The words struck her like a spear. Her jaw clenched, her chest tight. She wanted to spit, to tell him it was none of his concern. And yet, something inside broke. She laughed bitterly, though her voice shook. "My clan called me a weapon. From the moment I could stand, I was trained to fight, to kill, to bleed for their victories. I obeyed. I won their wars. I gave them my strength. And when I was broken, they left me." Her fists trembled, claws digging into the stone beneath her. "They said I was too dangerous, too unstable, that I could no longer be controlled." Her voice dropped, quiet, almost trembling. "They feared me. So they chose to erase me." Kale listened without interruption. His eyes held no judgment, no fear, only silence. Serenia's throat tightened. She hated that silence. She wanted him to say something cruel, to laugh at her weakness. Instead, he simply said, "They were cowards." Her eyes widened. "What? They used you? Then threw you away when they lost their grip? That's not strength. That's fear." His words hit her harder than any blade. She had told herself the same in the darkest hours, but hearing it from him, from a human, felt different. She turned away, her voice sharp. "Do not speak as if you understand me." But Kale's voice stayed calm. "I do, more than you think." Her gaze snapped back, searching his face. He didn't look away. "My people." His voice grew low. "We had leaders too. They said we mattered. Said we were worth protecting. But when the enemy came, they abandoned us. My family was left behind." Assyria froze. His eyes were not just human eyes anymore. They were a mirror. She saw in them the same wound she carried, the wound of betrayal. Her breath caught. For the first time, she felt not just pity for him, but connection. Silence stretched long between them, heavy but alive. Then Serenia whispered, "You are strange, Kale. Most humans would fear me, hate me, kill me." He gave her a faint smile. "Maybe I'm too stubborn for hate." Her lips curved, almost against her will. A smile, small, quick, but real. The moment was fragile. But outside, the world was not. A faint sound reached Kale's ears, footsteps, soft but steady. He raised his head sharply. Serenia tensed, her instincts flaring. "Hunters," she hissed. Kale grabbed his broken blade, eyes narrowing. "They found us." Serenia's heart pounded. The bunker walls shook faintly. Shadows moved just beyond the cracks. Kale crouched, ready. His voice was calm, but urgent. "Tell me the rest later. For now we fight." But Serenia's hand grabbed his arm, stopping him. For the first time, her voice held something unfamiliar, fear, not for herself, but for him. "You cannot fight them like this. Not alone." Kale met her gaze. "Then fight with me." Her breath caught. The words lit something deep inside her, a spark, small but fierce. Her clan had abandoned her. But this human asked her to stand with him, not as a weapon, not as a tool, but as a partner. Her hand trembled. Slowly, she nodded. Kale smiled faintly, lifting the blade. "Good. Let's show them you're not so easily erased." The shadows outside grew closer. The bunker filled with tension, and Serena whispered to herself, almost like a vow, "They will learn. I am not broken. Not anymore." The enemies drew nearer. The silence before the storm pressed heavy inside the bunker. Two broken souls sat side by side, one human. One alien bound, not by duty, not by command, but by shared scars. The secrets of the past were no longer hidden, and soon the world would see what came of them. The bunker walls shook. Dust rained from the cracked ceiling. Shadows moved outside hunters. More than before, Serena's heart pounded. She could sense them, her alien instincts whispering danger. These were no ordinary scouts. These were executioners. They had come to finish what her clan had begun. Kale tightened his grip on the broken blade, his body tense but steady. His eyes met hers. "You with me?" Her jaw clenched. "I do not fight for humans," he smirked faintly. "Then don't fight for me. Fight for yourself." Her chest tightened. Something in his words struck deeper than she wanted to admit. She gave a sharp nod. The first hunter burst through the bunker wall, armored and armed with a plasma pike. The air lit up with a sizzling glow. Kale moved first, dodging the swing by a breath, slashing upward with his broken blade. Sparks flew as metal met energy. The strike didn't kill the hunter, but it bought time. Serena, her strength barely returning, pushed herself to her feet. Her wounds burned, but her warrior's blood roared. She grabbed a fallen weapon from the ground, an alien dagger. Half broken but sharp, her eyes locked with the hunter's. This time, she would not fall. The battle was chaos. Two more hunters stormed inside, their glowing blades cutting through the shadows. Kale fought fiercely, but every swing rattled his injured body. Blood dripped down his side, staining his torn shirt. Serena leaped into the fight, striking fast. Her blade cut across a hunter's arm, sparks flashing. The alien roared, spinning toward her. She ducked under the swing, rolled, and drove the dagger deep into his chest. He collapsed, snarling his last breath. Her chest heaved, pain and rage mixing. For the first time since betrayal, she felt alive again. But Kale was faltering. One hunter's blade slashed across his arm, knocking the broken weapon from his grip. Another slammed him against the wall, pressing the glowing edge near his throat. Serena's eyes widened. Her body froze for a heartbeat. The human who had saved her. The fool who risked everything. The one who had said, "I don't abandon people." He was about to die. No. Her scream ripped from her chest like fire. Adrenaline surged. She charged, faster than her wounds should have allowed. Her dagger struck hard, ripping through the hunter's side. He fell back with a roar. Kale dropped to his knees, gasping, alive but bleeding. Another hunter lunged toward him. Serena moved without thought. She threw herself between them, taking the strike across her armor. Sparks and pain exploded, but she stood firm. Her dagger flashed once more, driving into the hunter's throat. He collapsed at her feet. Silence. Only two bodies still moved, hers and Kale's. The others lay broken in the bunker's ruins. Serena's chest rose and fell, her body trembling from the effort. Her arm burned, her side ached, but her eyes were fixed on Kale. He was slumped against the wall, blood pooling at his side. His lips curled into a weak grin. Not bad. For someone who doesn't fight for humans. Her throat tightened. She knelt beside him, grabbing his shoulders. "You fool. You could have died." He coughed, a hint of laughter in his voice. "Yeah, but so could you." Her hands shook. Her voice cracked, soft but fierce. Don't ever do that again. Don't make me watch you fall." Kale's tired eyes lifted to hers. "Why, You said you don't care for my kind." Her heart twisted. She opened her mouth, but no words came. She had faced death, betrayal, and war. But not this. Not the fear of losing someone who mattered. For a moment, she simply held him, her claws trembling against his blood-stained shirt. "I don't know why," she whispered, "but I cannot lose you." The bunker was silent again, save for their breaths. Outside, the hunters were gone for now. But the danger had not ended. Cale leaned back, eyes heavy with exhaustion. "Then maybe we fight together, not as human, not as alien, just as us." Her eyes met his. And for the first time, she didn't look away. A fragile bond, forged in blood and fire, had become something stronger. Trust, but in the distance, across the ruined land. More shadows were gathering. The clan had learned of her survival. They would not stop until she was erased, and now, Kaler, stubborn, reckless human, was marked as well. Saranya's jaw hardened. She had been betrayed once, but this time she would not run. This time she would fight. The bunker was silent again. Bodies of hunters lay in the dust, their armor dim and broken. Outside, smoke rolled over the ruins like waves of a dying ocean. Inside, Saranya knelt beside Cale. His breaths were shallow, his skin pale. The blood on his side was dark now, seeping through the bandages. Her warrior's heart had seen death many times, but never like this. Never with fear tightening her chest. Fear not for herself, but for him. Cale's lips curved into a faint smile, though pain lined his face. "You're staring at me again?" Saranya's jaw tightened. "Because you are foolish. You bleed and still you smile." He chuckled weakly. "Someone has to keep the mood light." Her chest ached at the sound. She hated it, hated that she wanted to keep hearing it. Hours passed. The night returned, heavy and cold. The bunker walls whispered with the wind. Saranya had tended his wounds as best she could, binding them with what little cloth remained. She worked silently, her hands careful, steady even when her heart was not. When she finished, Cale looked at her, eyes half-lidded but clear. "You didn't leave." Her head snapped toward him. "Leave. You could have. You're strong enough now. You could run. Save yourself." Her eyes burned. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then her voice dropped low, trembling but fierce. "I was left once, by those I trusted. Never again will I do the same." Silence stretched. But this silence was different, warm, heavy with something unspoken. Cale's eyes softened. "So, you're saying I'm special?" Her lips twitched, almost a smile. "You are. Unbearable." He laughed, a small, broken sound. But it filled the bunker like light in darkness. Time moved slower that night. The world outside was dangerous, yet inside the bunker felt like a fragile shelter. A place apart, Saranya sat beside him, watching the faint glow of her alien skin reflect off the stone. Cale's eyes followed it, tired but curious. "You glow," he murmured. "It is my blood," she said quietly. "My kind, we shine when wounded." A cruel gift. Cale's lips curved. "I don't think it's cruel. Looks beautiful." Her chest tightened. No one had ever said such words to her. Not her clan, not her commanders. To them, she had only been a blade, a weapon. But this human saw her not as a tool, not as an enemy, as her. For the first time, she looked away, hiding her face in shadow. "You speak nonsense." Cale smiled faintly. "Maybe, but sometimes nonsense is the truth we're afraid to hear." His words lingered, heavy in her mind. She hated them. She needed them. The night grew colder. Cale shivered, his body too weak to fight it. Without thinking, Saranya moved closer, her arm brushing against his. He froze for a moment, then relaxed. "You're warm," he whispered, her cheeks heated strange, unfamiliar. "Say one more word, and I will crush your ribs." Kale chuckled, weak but alive. Worth it? For a while, they sat like that, close but silent. The world outside raged on, yet in the shadows of the bunker, something fragile grew. Saranya's thoughts battled within her. She had been betrayed, discarded, left for dead. Trust was poison. Love was weakness. And yet, every time she looked at him, she felt her walls cracking. Kale's eyes fluttered, heavy with exhaustion. He whispered, voice soft as falling ash. "I thought my life ended when I lost my family. But maybe I was meant to find you." Her breath caught. She turned sharply, staring at him. "Do not say such things." "Why not?" His gaze locked with hers. "Because you don't feel it? Or because you do?" Her heart roared. Her warrior's pride screamed to deny it. But her silence betrayed her. At last, she whispered, almost too soft to hear, "I was ready to die. Until you came." Kale's lips curved into the faintest smile. His eyes closed, but his voice carried one last whisper. "Then I'll never leave you. Not even if it kills me." Saranya stared at him, frozen. Those words. No one had ever said them to her. Her clawed hand hovered above his chest, trembling, then slowly rested there. His heartbeat was weak, but it was steady. She closed her eyes, whispering back, "Foolish human. Don't you dare die on me." But outside, beyond the bunker, danger stirred again. Scouts moved through the ruins, searching. The clan would come soon. Love was growing here, in shadows. But shadows never lasted, and when the light of war returned, it would test them both. The sky burned red with dawn. The battlefield was not silent, anymore it trembled. In the distance, the sound of marching feet echoed across the ruins. Saranya knew that sound. The heavy rhythm of her clan. Once she had walked in those steps. Once she had called them family. Now they came as hunters, carrying blades meant for her death. Beside her, Kale stood weak but unyielding, leaning on a spear he had taken from the fallen. His body was still wounded, but his eyes burned with the same fire she had come to know. He looked at her and gave a faint grin. "So, what's the plan?" Saranya's jaw tightened. "The plan is survival." Kale shook his head. "No, the plan is victory." Her heart stirred. He spoke with the same madness that had saved her. The same madness that made her believe in him. The clan arrived. A dozen armored warriors, their symbols gleaming with pride and cruelty. At their front was her commander, the one who had left her to die. His voice cut the air like a blade. "Saranya, you live. A mistake I will now correct." Saranya's claws curled tight. Memories of betrayal surged, but this time her heart was steady. "You called me a weapon," she shouted back. "You used me. And when I no longer obeyed, you abandoned me." The commander sneered. "You were weak." "No," she growled. "I was loyal. You were the weak ones, afraid of the strength you could not control." The warriors raised their blades. But before they could strike, Kale stepped forward, standing at her side. "Funny," he said, voice steady. "For people who call themselves strong, you sure need an army to kill one woman." The commander's eyes narrowed. "And what are you? Human? Her pet?" Kale smirked. "Her partner?" The word struck Saranya like a lightning bolt. She turned to look at him, and for the first time in her life, she didn't feel like a weapon. She felt whole. The battle began. Warriors charged, their blades glowing with deadly light. Saranya roared, her dagger flashing. Kale fought at her side, striking with speed and instinct. Together, they moved like one. Every swing, every step, was not just survival, it was trust. Serenia cut down one, then another, her strength burning bright. Kale fought with cunning, striking weak points, never yielding even when blows landed hard. But they were outnumbered. The clan pressed closer, their commander watching with cold eyes. At last, the commander stepped forward, his massive blade raised. He swung at Kale, the human barely blocked, stumbling back, his body too weak to match the alien's power. Serenia's heart lurched. She threw herself into the strike, intercepting the blow. Sparks flew as her dagger clashed with the commander's weapon. "You will not touch him," she roared. The commander snarled. "You defend a human over your own blood." Her eyes blazed. "He is more my blood than you ever were." The fight between them shook the ground. The commander was strong, but Serenia was no longer fighting for orders or pride. She was fighting for Kale, for herself. For freedom, their blades clashed again and again. Until finally, with a roar, she drove her dagger deep into his chest. The commander's eyes widened in shock. His voice was a whisper. "You betrayed us." "No," she said, her voice steady. "You betrayed me." He collapsed, lifeless. The other warriors froze, seeing their leader fall. Some fled. Others dropped their blades, unwilling to face her fury. The battle was over. Serenia stood, chest heaving, her body trembling. She turned to Kale. He was still standing, barely, his spear broken, his body bleeding. She rushed to him, catching him before he could fall. For a long moment, they simply held each other, surrounded by ruins and silence. Kale gave a tired laugh. "So, we won." She looked at him, her lips curving into the faintest smile. "Yes, we won." His eyes softened. "Then I can rest." Her throat tightened. "Rest, yes, but not forever. You will not leave me." Kale's hand rose weakly, brushing against her cheek. "I told you. I don't abandon people." Eyes burned. For the first time in her life, she let herself speak the words her heart had hidden. "And I will never abandon you." Foolish human. Brave hero. "My Kale." The dawn broke fully, light spilling across the ruins. The clan was gone, scattered. The battlefield, once filled with betrayal, now carried something new. Not hatred, not despair, but love. As the sun rose, Serenia and Kale stood together, broken but unbowed. Two souls from different worlds, bound not by blood or command, but by choice. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. "I was betrayed. I was left for dead. But in you, I found something greater." Kale's tired smile shone in the morning light. "Then, let's see what comes next, together." And so, the warrior once discarded, and the human once forgotten, walked into a new dawn. Not as enemies. Not as strangers, but as partners. As survivors. As love born from war. The end of one story. The beginning of another.